It was supposed to be just another day of work for Lily. The grand charity gala at the Royal Hall was the biggest event in town, and she'd been hired to serve as one of the cleaning staff. The chandeliers sparkled like stars, the guests were dressed in diamonds and silk, and every corner smelled of luxury. Lily, wearing her plain black maid uniform, moved quietly along the marble floors, trying not to draw attention. She had promised herself she wouldn't even look up. These people were from another world, a world where laughter came easy and worries were light. But fate had its own plans that evening. As the event began, Lily was asked to tidy up the front rows before guests arrived. In the chaos of rushing waiters and photographers, she accidentally sat down for just a moment to rest her tired legs. Her back ached, her hands trembled, she had been on her feet since sunrise. But before she could even breathe, a deep voice said from behind her, "Excuse me, that's the VIP seat." Her heart stopped. She jumped up instantly, turning around to see a tall man in an elegant black suit, eyes sharp, but not unkind. "I'm so sorry, sir," she stammered, clutching her apron. "I didn't mean to, I was just..." But before she could finish, he interrupted softly, "Sit back down." Lily blinked, confused. "Sir," he smiled faintly, "I said sit. You look like you need it more than anyone else here tonight." The man was Ethan Hayes, a billionaire known across Canada for his ruthless business empire and his secretive nature. No one dared talk to him unless spoken to. Yet here he was, asking a maid to sit beside him. The other guests began whispering. Cameras flashed, but Ethan didn't care. He leaned toward her and said quietly, "You remind me of someone, my mother. She used to work 3 jobs just to keep me fed. She never sat down either." Lily's eyes filled with tears, but she tried to hide them. "You don't have to say that, sir. I'm fine." "No," he said, his tone soft but firm. "You're not fine. You're exhausted. You deserve a seat, even if the world says you don't." For the first time in her life, Lily sat among the rich and powerful. People looked at her with confusion, even disapproval. But she sat still, her hands folded in her lap, heart pounding. The host began speaking on stage, praising the donors, the wealthy, the important. Lily felt out of place, until Ethan whispered, "You see all this glamour. Most of them forgot what it means to earn something real. But you remind me that hard work still exists." The words hit her deeply. For years, she had been invisible, scrubbing floors, cleaning rooms, serving people who never even looked her way. Yet here she was, noticed by the one man no one dared approach. After the event, when the crowd left, Ethan turned to her again. "Lily, isn't it? You work for the cleaning agency, right?" "Yes, sir," she said nervously. "Not anymore," he replied with a small smile. "You work for me now. My company needs someone who understands real effort." She thought he was joking. But the next morning, a car arrived at her tiny apartment with an offer letter, not as a maid, but as a personal assistant at his foundation that helped single mothers and low-income workers. The job changed her life. She learned, grew, and slowly began to believe she was worth more than her past. Ethan often reminded her, "It doesn't matter where you sit, what matters is what you bring to the table." Months later, during another charity event, Lily stood beside him again, this time, not as a maid, but as his right-hand organizer. When she looked around, she saw maids, servers, and workers she had once stood beside. She smiled warmly, making sure they all got a chance to sit and eat too. When someone asked Ethan why he had hired her that day, he simply said, "Because she sat in the wrong seat, but she had the right heart." That night, as the lights dimmed and the music faded, Lily realized something powerful: kindness has no class, and true worth isn't written on name tags or bank accounts. Sometimes, all it takes is one person who sees beyond your uniform to change your entire life. And as she looked across the hall, where new faces smiled and old walls between rich and poor slowly disappeared, she finally understood: sitting beside someone can be the start of changing both lives forever.